Do you want to give your kids the best chance at success in life? Then listen up, because by the end of this video, you will enrich your parenting approach with these top 5 traits that I truly believe will have a huge benefit on the lives of your kids, especially in this modern competitive world. Hi guys, I'm Anna Lehman, a personal performance coach, and in this channel, we talk about strategies to build a joyful, high-performing life and achieve personal success. Thank you for visiting my channel and subscribing. Parenting is a huge aspect of my life. As I'm a mom of 2, an almost 12-year-old girl and a 3-year-old boy, I have always separated mothering and parenting, as feeding your kids and keeping them warm is one thing, but being that parent who leads by example, who instills in them important life lessons and values, who is their biggest supporter, is a different thing. And to me, it more falls into that category of parenting rather than mothering. So let's look at those traits. Trait 1, emotional intelligence. Ability to self-regulate, stay emotionally resourceful, and show empathy towards others. The ability to embrace and comprehend your emotions, understand the difference between an emotional and a logical mind. Teaching your kids those things will make them happier, balanced, and more resourceful adults who will be able to stay attuned to their own emotional state and the emotional state of others. Kids learn the basics of emotional self-regulation and self-soothing from the age of 2, and that is when we can start showing them the basics of self-regulation. When my 3-year-old son gets frustrated that his truck is not working, I sit down to the level of his eyes, and first what I do is that I acknowledge his emotion. I don't say, "Oh, come on, your truck is not a big deal." I say, "I hear you, it is frustrating, but let's have a look what we can do about it." I keep explaining to him that we are not hitting others or ourselves and suggest other alternatives. Like, for example, we suggested to our little son that he can let it all out by punching his soft pillow toy he has. By doing so, we are actually teaching them 3 things. Number 1, we are teaching them empathy because we are being empathetic towards their emotions and towards them in the first place by letting them feel what they feel, by accepting that state. Number 2, we show them how to release their negative emotions ecologically. And number 3, we also teach them problem-solving skills. Once they get older, we introduce them to sports or various types of physical and artistic activities, which are massive helpers in developing emotional self-regulation. Once my daughter entered the puberty stage, those 2 words, emotional self-regulation, have become probably the most often used words in our coaching conversations. She started talking concepts like fair, unfair, love, hate, black and white. She is learning how to understand and participate in her emotions, how to get centered in the moment when she gets overwhelmed through breathing, taking a break from everything, and through sports and physical activities, which in its turn helps her to move from an emotional to logical mind and to start understanding the difference between perception and perspective, and calm her down on all levels. Little action point for you. Observe over the next few days how you are helping your kids to understand and regulate their emotions. Be honest with yourself. Try not to let your ego eclipse you. It is not whether you are a perfect parent or not. It's what you can do every single day for your child to help them grow into mentally strong individuals. Trait 2, grit. Grit is a term popularized by psychologist Angela Duckworth. According to her book, grit is defined as a combination of passion and perseverance for long-term goals. Her research indicates that grit is a more reliable predictor of success than talent or intelligence. If we want our kids to be able to succeed in this competitive world, we must teach them how to stick to their goals and keep working even when it gets hard. Whatever goal they pick up, whether it is how to play piano or how to learn how to ski or how to become a good hairdresser, let alone excelling in business or in the corporate world, they will need to be okay with that delayed gratification and show up day in and day out and do not give up after first uncomfortable conversation with their boss, or if the results do not come as fast as they expected. Let me share a personal story with you. I remember when my daughter was preparing for an opportunity class exam. She was studying a lot over 2 years before the exam, and my husband and I would tutor her every weekend. Don't get me wrong, she still had her holidays twice per year and would go traveling overseas. But then a few weeks before the exam, she was ready to give up. She said, "That's it, I'm done, I'm giving up," being that close to finishing. What did I do? Well, we had a big conversation with tears and hugs, and I showed her the analogy with a marathon runner. When they are that close to the finish line, they feel like they can't do this anymore and they want to quit. But it is their mind actually playing tricks on them. You just have to keep going and you will have that second wind. She pulled herself together, regained that focus over the last 2 weeks, had a wonderful day of resting before the exam, and sat this super challenging test successfully. Teaching your kids consistency and perseverance through coaching conversations, leading by example, and providing that support when they are that close to quitting is super important. Trait 3, responsibility. The importance of teaching children to take ownership of their actions or inactions, make decisions, and understand the consequences of their behavior is immense. This will help them grow into reliable and mature adults. And what I want to highlight here is that the earlier you start, the better. You can start with little things. For example, our nearly 12-year-old daughter knows that she has a responsibility at home to load the dishwasher in the evening and to unload it in the morning. Honestly, she hates it. But look, I don't always like doing some home chores as well, but it is part and parcel of life, and we all have to contribute to this family to make that household run smoothly. So she knows if she doesn't do the dishes in the evening, there will be no clean cutlery, no clean plates in the morning for her for breakfast. Few times she didn't do that and woke up to dirty dishes. She wasn't happy, but it taught her a lesson that if you don't do it, no one else will, and the whole family has no clean plates to eat from. Had I done it for her, she would have never learned that lesson of responsibility. And of course, I'm not talking about this when you're just teaching your kids that new habit, but rather later on in the process. So don't do it for them. Let them carry the responsibility for their actions and inactions. There is a really good book called Raising Responsible Children that gives some strategies and helpful advice how to instill that responsibility in your children, and you can check it out at the link in the description below. Trait 4, resilience. Resilience is the capacity to overcome adversity and thrive. It is the ability to stay mentally strong and positive despite challenges you might be facing. It's that stoicism and ability to see obstacles as just challenges that you have to work through rather than just end of the world. I'm sure if I were to ask you to think about the times when you had tough days, or maybe a sequence of tough days, or maybe a sequence of tough months, but you still woke up, still would smile to the sun, still would do the work you had to do and go through your action plan. That is what resilience is. But you don't just wake up being resilient. You build resilience. You develop it. So how do we develop resilience and how do we help our kids to develop that resilience? Exactly how we develop immunity in our health. Through injecting small doses of a virus into our body, similar to how the vaccine works. That is exactly how we help our kids to develop that resilience. We expose them to adversity in small amounts. We monitor the dosage and adequately assess what they are ready for and what they might not be ready for. We do not shield them from possible adversity in the world, but rather let them face it themselves and stick around to support them when they need us. We do not run and sort out all the problems they have in school for them, or we not let them avoid unpleasant conversations. We let them go through that adversity step by step. Supportive relationships, problem-solving skills, and self-regulation we spoke about earlier, helping them to reframe negative thoughts into positive ones and see challenges as opportunities rather than problems. All of those things are elements that will help your child to become a more resilient person. Trait 5. Fostering a growth mindset. Carol Dweck, a psychologist at Stanford University, is best known for her research on mindset. In her book, Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, Dweck actually introduces the concept of a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. Her research shows that children with a growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, and achieve higher levels of success. The reason why I think our kids must develop that growth mindset is because when we have a growth mindset, we are eager to learn, to try new things, and experiment, which in its turn will help our kids to achieve their goals and succeed in life. The reason why many kids, teens, and adults do not want to try new things is because they're limited by their fear of failure. But if we help our kids to reframe the word failure into first attempt in learning rather than failure as such, they will be more keen to try new things. Another way you can use to encourage your kids to learn new things is to make the process of learning exciting itself, and also to show them what the real benefits from that skills are. For example, when my daughter started learning Spanish, she really struggled, and I think she really struggles to see that specific future benefit this will give her. But then we went to Spain for a holiday, and she was super excited when she realized that she can understand what people are talking about and can relate to them. Another example is when she started doing swimming. She didn't like it, and she still doesn't like it. But when she was 9, I took her on her first big snorkeling trip in Fiji. She was able to swim on her own with no gear and no boat around, enjoying the beauty of the reef. She could literally sense the benefit of being a good swimmer. Please share your experiences in the comments below. How do you help your kids to develop those traits? What has worked for you so far and what didn't? I would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and as always, rooting for your success. With care, Anna.